I'm going to take you guys through a walk, day in my life, of the job of running front. The first and most important rule to becoming a good front player is staying alive. First thing is you don't want to give your opponent any advantage. What I mean by that is by starting backwards, if you position yourself with your gun back in a running stance like this, it's pretty simple. Your opponents are going to know what you're going to do. You're going to run. They have the advantage because they know you're not shooting back at them. All they have to do is shoot some paintballs in your direction. Odds are they're going to hit you. The proper way, with your foot touching, your gun back, starting so you're ready to shoot back at your opponents. This way you're doing one of two things. You have the advantage of shooting at them. The second thing, they don't know what you're going to do. You could either stop short and shoot at them. You can run all the ways to the corner and shoot at them. You can drop your gun, run all the ways to the snake. You control the advantage instead of them knowing exactly what you're going to do. From this point, I'm going to run straight to the snake, looking at my opponents. If by running, with your head down running, and you see a lot of times that people like to put their hands up in front of their goggles, that's not a correct thing to do. It's pretty simple. If you put your hand up in front of your goggles, you can't see. If you're going to get shot in the goggles, you're going to get shot in the goggles. That's just the odds. Putting your hand up, blocking your vision doesn't help anymore. All right, now that you made it to the snake, safely and alive, you get in here, you get set, and you start locking off zones. That's your first job. Get in here, pay attention, and know if you shot somebody off that side of the field. If you shot somebody off that side of the field, your job, get in here, stay alive, completely blocked out from everybody else, and lock off that zone. All right, one of the things I'm going to go over is to teach you guys a proper way to make good snake movements. A lot of people don't ever put focus on that. Like, you know, snake movements, they don't ever think it's important. It's extremely important. You need to be ready at all times to do any type of job. Either running down, bunkering the guy. If you hear somebody, like he's running through the middle, you need to be able to react, turn in the middle. You need to be able to do pretty much anything from here. The big key is here is not be on both knees, definitely not laying down like this. That's a no-no. You should never ever lay down in the snake. The best way to do it is to at least have one foot planted and create a center of balance. This way you're perfectly balanced, you're more mobile, on the same height as I was on my knees. And this way, if you come out and you see that you have both guys in, it's real simple. One and down. Takes one move. If you are on your knees and you need to make that emergency bump, you still have to get up, shift all your weight, and then go. At this point, you should know better. So pretty much anytime you're in the snake, you need to have this foot up. If you have your other foot up, like this, you're off balance. So when you push, you're pushing out like that. And all it's going to do is push your momentum that way. You have to correct it to get back in the snake, and that throws off balance. Real important, if you're down this side, left-handed down the snake, you need to have your left foot up. And that way, it's a lot easier to control where your foot is lined up here, so nobody can shoot you in the foot. And another part, usually next ball this comes into a big key where you have coaches. If you're down here and you hear him saying he's coming in the highway is what we call him pretty much running down the right side. It's real simple. If you're leaned out, you're already balanced right here perfectly on your leg. All you do is lift up. Lift up and you can see everything. So you come out here. If you hear they're running down the Doritos, it's real simple. You're leaned out, you push back like this. And now you switched all your weight to your right foot. You're just like this. You can catch anybody running through the center of the field. If you need to, you go right back to here. It's real simple. As long as you keep this left leg up and in a power position, then you're able to make 3 movements. That's going to save your life every single time. Like I said before, staying alive is the most important role. It's impossible for me to go over every scenario that you're going to encounter. There's just way too many, and the only way you can figure those out is by practicing. Put yourself in those scenarios. You need to get in a bunker, keep your composure, and do your job. That's it. Don't get bored. Don't do anything stupid. It's all about thinking in paintball. You have to be able to make the right decisions, the right timing. It's a smarter player in paintball that always wins. Once you figure it out and get used to being in those positions, then you'll be able to become extremely effective as a front player.
Hi there, I'm Ryan Greenspan from Team Dynasty. I'm here today to show you guys a couple things that I do on the field, kind of a quick walkthrough on my job and my position as a midfield player. As I start, I'm just kind of lined up with my body facing the opponents straight on the field so I can kind of see everything out there. And what I do is as soon as we say go, I have my predetermined lane that I'm going to be shooting. I usually just kind of cruise up here. I'm generally with another person, probably like Yosh or Davey Williamson or Todd. They'll usually be in the back center with me, one or two of them. So it kind of gets a little tight. And so I'm usually, because I'm smaller, I get a little lower than everybody else. But basically, I find a predetermined shot that I want to take. And then as soon as the game breaks out and I see the other opponents take their spots and I make sure that everybody's kind of alive, I then go to my secondary spot. Lately, I've been playing more on the snake side of the field. So I'd identify where the two guys are, or the three guys are on this side of the field. So I'd yell, back left, God bunker, snake, any of the spots that'll help my front guys and everybody else in the back center relay it across the field. So everybody knows where my guys are on this side of the field. Then, of course, Davey or Todd or somebody, whoever's sharing the back center with me, will also tell me what's going on that side of the field. So that's kind of how we go through from the breakout. Now that I tell everybody over here, and I make sure that everybody's alive and well, and, Angel's up in the snake, what I'll do is I'll take off probably to something over here. This is a really good mid-level spot, and generally from here, I can move anywhere on the field, okay? As a mid player, my job is to know how to play everybody else's spot and to know that if something goes wrong, I can fill out anywhere. So say we lose Angel. My job is now to be the second backup into the snake side. If we were to lose Brian in the back corner, my job would be to fill out there or to make sure that coordinate something so that somebody gets out there. Hopefully, everything goes according to plan and I can kind of play freely and I can figure out what I want to do. As a mid player, I can kind of see what's going on and coordinate the game plan, and from here I can move up into the center of the field. The center of the field is generally something that I can get up there and I can lock down something. So if I move up to the center, that means our other back center guy can kind of come up in here and play freely and do the job that I was going to do. From the center, say I go this way, it gets kind of tricky coming up into this area because both the tapes can look in and see me. But if we don't have anybody in the snake on the opponent's side, if none of the bad guys are in the snake, what I can do is I can get into a position like this center wedge or the 50 tent. I can get up into those spots and make sure that Angel's protected the whole time. So if I get up all the way up into here, I check off. The first thing I do is when I get up into these two center bunkers that are kind of in the middle of the field, what I'll do is I'll check off the outside tapes. Before I go and commit to get into a 50, I want to make sure both my guys are still alive, everybody's still good, and I want to make sure that nobody's moved up into these 50s that'll shoot me as I move up into the field. So now once I kind of hop up the field, I'll get into a 50-yard line bunker. Hopefully the game's going according to plan and everything's good and we haven't lost anybody. None of the opponents have really made a move up the field. So usually from the back center to my first move and all the way up into the center or into the snake or wherever, usually takes about 1 minute at most. At most. I'm out of the back center within the first 15, 20 seconds. From there, I'm out of that spot pretty quickly as well, unless I have a predetermined job that I have to stay and watch. From here, so generally my job will be here. If all plans go accordingly, I'll come into here and I'll watch the zone, the snake zone. If I'm here, I know for a fact that nobody's going to get down the field and, get into the snake on the opponent's side. So as Angel kind of hops up the legs of the snake, he knows that I have him and he's protected, and he'll be looking this way. So we'll kind of zone up and both watch each other. So basically, in a hole, a mid player needs to be able to play in the back, the front, and everywhere in between there, okay? If I carry 6 pods and we lose our corner guy who carries 9 or 11, I have to be able to fill out there and conserve my paint and successfully do this job. So it is a little bit tougher of a job to play in the middle. A lot of people think it's just like, oh, this is the cool thing. I'll play the insert spot, and I'll be able to kind of roam around and do whatever I want. It is fun, and you do have, a lot of freedom. However, it kind of sucks if you have to fill into the snake one game, and the next game you go out, you have to fill into the back corner. It's like you need to be on your toes, and you need to keep your head on a swivel. A lot of it goes into planning and being prepared. I need to know every bunker on the field and where all my teammates are going. So it's a really fun job to be able to play in the middle and be free and kind of roam around and check things out. But at the same time, I need to know exactly what's going on the field at all times.